This past September, we traveled to Hangzhou, China to visit the Yamaha Guitars factory. Unlike a lot of other guitar manufacturers that just sell their brand to the lowest bidder for manufacturing, Yamaha's built this factory from the ground up with its employees trained by Japanese master craftsmen. Welcome to Hangzhou, China. We're here this morning at Hangzhou Yamaha, which is a very large state-of-the-art acoustic guitar factory here in the area. Today we're going to get a better idea of what it takes to make a great acoustic guitar, and we're going to start over in the massive wood drying section over here. I'm going to take a walk over there, and as I do so, let's take a quick look at some fast facts on this factory. So as you can see, we're in this massive warehouse that's full of the wood that's drying now before it goes inside to be made into guitars. We've got piles of Engelmann spruce from Europe, Sitka spruce from Canada, and Western red cedar from the United States. One of the biggest challenges of building a guitar in a climate that has 40% humidity is drying the wood properly. So here at the Yamaha factory, this wood is left out here for 1 to 2 years until it's properly dried before it can go in and be made into a guitar. So let's go inside now and check what happens after the wood's dry. See you inside. So after the wood is dried, it's brought in here and it's stored in different grades to make guitar tops. This gentleman here is picking out different APX guitar tops, and they'll be taken over, they'll be cut, sanded, sound hole covers cut in them, and bracing put on them. Let's go check that out now. So after the wood tops come in here, there's 3 main processes that have to happen to make it look more like a guitar. First, this gentleman is cutting the sound hole cover, which the sound of the guitar comes out of. Then he passes it on to this woman here, and she's cutting the guitar top on a bandsaw. When she's done, it'll look like the top of a guitar. And then finally in this process, we move over here, where this woman is applying the rosette, which is the design around the sound hole, and she's doing that by hand with tweezers and glue. One of the next processes that happens in making a guitar is to make the sides of the guitar. In this case, we're going to talk about laminated sides. A laminate side is 3 or more pieces of wood that are sandwiched together to make a solid piece of wood. So right here, I've got some very paper-thin strips of rosewood that are going to be used to make the side of an LJ6 guitar. So basically, the girl here takes and selects from these pieces of wood. Now, comes over here, goes into this large glue press. So there's a piece of rosewood, a piece of Meranti wood, another piece of rosewood. And she's going to put them through the glue press, press them together and make a laminate side. Then we're going to put it in the bender and make the shape of the guitar. Let's check that out. The laminate's made, it's brought over here and it's put into the side bender. You can see that this is a very simple machine. It presses the wood and makes it into the shape of the side of the guitar. He's put in here for 7 minutes, and then when this green light turns to orange, we know it's done and move on to the next bender. When it comes out, it's quite hot, and it looks like that. Now it's going to be made into the side of the guitar. So we're over here now, and we're going to look at actually bracing the guitar top. Bracing with the sound bar is one of the most important parts of making guitar because it does 2 things. It affects the sound quality of the top of the guitar, and it also allows it to have structural integrity so it doesn't crack and break. So what we're seeing here is a very old, simple technique of gluing the bracing here onto the back of the guitar. And these are flexible bars here that just apply a very even pressure across the top of the guitar, and so she can glue the bracing on. This is just a steel template here that shows her exactly where to put it on. This is a non-scalloped X bracing pattern she's using on an FG guitar here. And then she'll put the bars on, and it'll give a nice even pressure across the top of the guitar for the best possible sound quality. And one of the final stages in the bracing that's very impressive about this factory is the amount of hand chiseling that goes in to cleaning the bracing and also shaping it. The actual size of the brace will affect the tone. If it's too big, the top won't vibrate enough. If it's too small, it won't give it enough structural integrity. So it's a very fine line, so she's just chiseling away here to get it just perfect. Now when the guitar back and sides and top have all been put together, one of the things that we do is cut what are called binding channels. Binding is a plastic or wood decorative piece that goes around the outside of the guitar, and so the box of the guitar is taken here, and we cut a channel in here all the way around the guitar, and then we apply the binding, which is what these two women are doing here. Let's have a look. Once the binding channels are cut, the guitar is sent over here, and these very, very thin strips of either nylon or wood are glued onto the guitar, and they become binding. It's very important that the binding is cut exactly properly and that it's applied very, very even pressure, or it might come apart later. So after the bodies are put together, we need to put a neck on it. This is a very raw neck that's been made here, and it's a three-piece neck so far. It's a piece of mahogany or NATO wood that we glue the headstock on, which the tuners will be on, and then the neck heel, which we'll make into a dovetail joint. This is a very raw blank here that's going to be sanded first in a raw sander and then sanded down by hand. So let's go look at that now. The raw neck has come over to one of these stations, and it's being sanded down with a palm sander and made much more smooth, and so that raw piece we just saw turns out looking like this, which is much more like a guitar neck. It'll then be further sanded down by hand for feel. The only way you can really make a good guitar neck is to sand it down by hand to the touch. So now that the neck has been finely sanded, it comes over to this station, and a dovetail joint is made, and the guitar neck is attached to the body. Now there's a bunch of different ways to attach it. You can use bolt-on, you can use a set neck design, and in the acoustic guitar world, at Yamaha, we use a dovetail joint. Because a dovetail joint is the tightest way to build that relationship between the neck and the body of the guitar itself. So what this gentleman is doing is he's hammering the neck into that dovetail joint, and then he's removing it and shaving off maybe a 32nd of an inch off of it to make sure it's the tightest possible joint. When he's got it done and it's very tight and fine, it'll take one bead of glue to attach that, and it'll last a lifetime. All right, so now that the neck has been attached, we're ready to bring the guitar into the spray booth and put the undercoat and the top coat on it. Let's go check that out now.
As you can see, the employees are trained to make sure that the coat is very even on the guitar. We're looking at a cobalt aqua blue guitar being sprayed here.
So you can see that blue guitar that was started over there ends up looking great like this in the end. Now it's time for these to go back into the shop and have the fretboards put on them. So now that the guitar has been sprayed, it comes out here and we attach the rosewood fingerboard onto the neck. And the frets are pounded in by hand, and they go into the fret press over here where they give them the final pressing. After the fretting's been done, it's time to attach the bridge. A bridge is made of rosewood, and it's going to actually hold the strings and the body end. So that's attached by hand and glued on, and then it's put over here to dry in the presses. Okay, so we're almost in the final stages here. We're putting the hardware onto the guitar, which is the tuners, and it's going to be strung up, it's going to be tuned, and it's going to go to the final inspection stage. Now, every single guitar in this factory goes through the final inspection stage, whether it's a $199 or a $1,500 guitar. So we're in the final stages of making this guitar now. This is the inspection that every guitar that leaves the factory will get. The intonation is being checked, the overall tuning, the string height and action, and any adjustments that need to be made will be made now. And if there's a problem with the guitar, then it'll be sent back.